And that's where I think that this decomposition into between and within becomes very useful. Now, for simplicity, I called within class inequality and between countries location. Why location? Because really your income is largely then determined by where you are born, not necessarily whether you're a rich Dutch person or a poor Dutch person, because if everybody in the Netherlands is relatively rich globally, then really location would be very significant component of global inequality. And the interesting part here is that in the mid-19th century, to the extent that we have the data, as I mentioned, with caveats, lots of caveats about this data, we actually have the situation that about half of global inequality is driven by class, which means within national inequality, and half of that is driven by location. That means that the sort of contradictions or the contrast between people living in the same country, between, let's suppose, workers and capitalists, peasants and landlords, or whatever other distinction you want to make, were significant determinant of global inequality. Well, that has changed, as I said before, by the end of the 20th century, where actually location was extremely important. In other words, the very fact that somebody is born in the Netherlands gives him or her a stream of income which is many times higher than if the same person is born in a poor country. And that's actually reflected in the incredibly large share that location takes in explaining global inequality. Location basically means citizenship. But what is now happening is that with the rise of Asia, that location component is being shrunk. And then if you project it forward, we will actually probably have the decline of global inequality thanks to the shrinkage of the location component and to sort of greater evenness in the distribution of economic activity, if you will, in the world. But we might have, unless we checked further increase in inequality within nation states, we might have an increase in the class part.